All right, let's get started. Welcome to the call, everybody. We'll see who else joins us in the next minute or two. So today's going to be fun. We're going to talk about prospecting. We'll call it lead gen. Maybe people like hearing the word lead gen better than prospecting. But this is important because we're going to talk about really the lifeblood of any business. Any single business requires prospecting, some degree of prospecting. Now, some businesses that are big, does Coca-Cola prospect? Sure, they do. They just do it through advertising and marketing, and they just have a bigger budget than most real estate agents do. They probably spend, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars plus or minus prospecting and marketing and getting new clients and keeping existing clients. So that's what we have to do with real estate agents. Of course, it is one of the most important things, most vital things that we can do for our business. And so let's start talking about prospecting. Super, super important. All right. So point number one with regard to prospecting starts with a mindset. And so what we're going to do is start with this affirmation. Think about the following affirmation as you begin your prospecting each and every day. And it's a very simple affirmation that we've all heard before. I am efficient. I am effective. I am productive. I am profitable. You want to talk about really starting your day on the right foot and getting your head screwed on straight to have a really strong prospecting session? It's got to start with the right mindset. Can you start your prospecting session being depressed, overwhelmed, in a rotten mood, angry? Like you're not going to prospect well if you're coming from that mental space, right? Like Dylan, you prospect and you're a new agent and you're having early success. I believe that's the case because you're coming with a really good attitude. You're just enjoying what you do. You're talking to people and they're responding really, really favorably. You don't have all like the perfect words. You don't have years of experience. You're not like you don't have like total certainty, confidence, conviction. Like you don't really own that yet, but you have a great mindset. You're excited. You're happy to be making the calls. You're happy to be talking to people and they're responding accordingly. So how do you get yourself in the right mind frame to talk to people? Well, you can start with that very simple affirmation. Tell yourself that. Say it in your head, say it out loud, say it 5, 10 times in a row. I'm efficient, I am effective, I am productive, I am profitable. I am efficient, I'm effective, I am productive, I am profitable. You know, when you're exercising in the morning, do a few minutes of affirmations. It's just a great thing to really hone in and get focused on what's important. So as you begin your prospecting session, say that affirmation a few times, give it a shot. Clear your mind to get focused on the task at hand. It's a really, really fun thing to do, and it works. Next point on prospecting or lead gen or real estate conversations. Call it what you want, right? It's just we have to have conversations with people if we're going to generate business, right? We just have to. So, Dylan, we were talking about a couple of leads this morning. Those all started with conversations, right? Mark, I know you're prospecting a lot. All your leads, they all start with conversations. That's all it is. So to make your conversations, your lead, your lead gen time, your prospecting time, to make it better, work to make your mornings media free. No TV, no radio, no newspapers, no emails, no voicemails, no social media. I'm not saying don't do it ever, but this has been proven over the years. If you want to really have an efficient morning, if you want to have lead gen conversations, real estate conversations, do some strong lead follow up, your energy is at the highest point. Your clarity is at the highest point. Your effectiveness is at the highest point, all in the beginning of the day. So this point is just don't screw all that goodness up by pouring a bunch of media into your brain. You really don't need to know about the wars and the murders, the economy going up and down and going crazy, people losing their jobs, and famine, and hurricanes, and earthquakes, and this. Save that till afternoon, would you? Our mind is so like beautifully prepared for effectiveness in the morning. You have a good night's sleep, you have a healthy breakfast, you go to work and you do your job. You're 10 times more effective between the hours of, the morning until, let's say, 10, 11, 12 o'clock than you are 3, 4, 5 o'clock. 10 times more effective. So just nourish that effectiveness and don't spoil it by just pouring in a bunch of media. Try it, you know, try it. Try it for a couple days. Try it for a week. You know what? I'll read the newspaper later. I'll check all the news later. I'll check my emails and voicemails and social media later. Let me try keeping my mornings pure and see how it affects my productivity each morning. Really, really cool thing to do. Next point on prospecting. Next point on lead generation. We must strengthen the link. And when we say the link, it's like the mental link between prospecting and actually achieving the goals that we have set. There's a link between making your calls, meeting with people, doing client facing activities. There is a link between doing that stuff and achieving your goals. Strengthen that link. People say, oh gosh, I hate prospecting. I don't like calling people. I don't like talking to people. Do you really think you can actually achieve your goals without talking to people? Like it's not possible. It's not possible. This is a people business, right? So really strengthen that link, prospecting, lead follow up, lead generation, real estate conversations, having those conversations, and at the same time, achieving those goals. There's a link, like mentally, just really understand that. Then it makes the prospecting, the lead, the lead gen conversations more fun. You really see the importance of it. This is why I'm doing that. I'm not just punishing myself, right? Oh, just do I want to spend an hour or two calling people? There's things I'd rather do instead, right? We'd all rather do that, you know? Maybe you'd rather be with your kids, play golf, or go for a run, or sleep in, right? I can think of a lot of things, you know, that you'd prefer to do. But once you really strengthen that link, I do this, oh, I can have that, then it really like emphasizes and strengthens the power of that lead generation time because you know you're doing that for a purpose. Now, in order to strengthen that link between the lead gen conversations and the goals you've set, that's assuming you've actually set goals. So have you set goals? What are they? Are they written down somewhere? If you know that you want to retire in 5 years and you need to generate X number of dollars per year and invest X number of dollars per year to achieve that goal, where when that date comes, I'm clocking out. That's pretty inspiring. Do you have the goals? You have the goal is really just a map to get to where you're going to. It's a plan to follow. Have you taken the time to actually write down what those goals are? And then once you have them, then you can really strengthen that link between the prospecting, the real estate conversations, and the goals you have set. It gives a whole new emphasis to the prospecting session when goals are backing it up. Goals that inspire you are backing it up. If you don't have any goals written, I would encourage you to really, right when this call's over, Just number a page, maybe from 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, and write down why you're doing this. Like, what's really important? What would you like to have? What would you like to achieve? How would you like to spend your time? What would you like to do? Write down some of these things and then prioritize them and pick the top 1 or 2 that really motivate you, that really inspire you. And that's the gas for your engine. That's the gas that makes you go. Somebody told me once, gas, what does gas stand for? Stands for give a shit, GAS. When you determine, what you really care about, that drives you. It really, really does. Oh, I just want to make more money. It's not enough. Not enough. When you have a tough day, money kind of goes to the side. But why do you want to make more money? I want to make that so I can take a vacation with my family, do this for my children, send them to college, buy an investment property towards my retirement, whatever it is. It truly does create that gas in the engine to drive you when things maybe aren't so. Are there rainy days in real estate? Yeah, like things can get tough. So it's really important to have your goals so that when you fall to the level that you've set those goals at. You're not going to go below that. You're like, no, that's where it stops. I'm pushing forward no matter what. Next point on prospecting or on lead generation, we'll call it. We must make a commitment to build our business through daily efficient lead generation, daily efficient prospecting. Daily. You can't do lead gen once a week and expect to build your business. You can't do it once a month. You just get involved in doing it daily. Every business does. And there's so many different ways to generate leads, right? Some people just get on the phones. They call their past clients. They call their center of influence. They call expired listings or for sale by owners. They cold call. They call around listings and sales, or they go to the doors and do open house to go do door knocking, or sit open houses. Some people purchase leads. I don't highly recommend that. We've never done it, but start with your past clients, your friends, your center of influence, your neighbors, your family, people that are important to you, and make a commitment to building your business through daily efficient prospecting every single day. That done over time, it's all about time on task over time, spending some time doing the right things, the efficient things, and continue to do that again and again and again. And then you start to see things really gel after a couple of weeks or a couple of months. When you're really doing the appropriate things consistently, it starts to really have a strong impact. It really starts to build upon itself over time. Next point. This is kind of interesting, actually. So you have to know where your business comes from before you decide where you're going to get your business. Determine where your business comes from before you decide where you're going to get future business. In other words, source your business, right? So Dave is a really good lender. I would imagine, Dave, you've been doing this so long, you probably get a lot of business from past clients, people done business with in the past. You might get some new referrals.
I get a lot of
Right?
referrals from past clients, but I think it's important for this message for the younger agents, especially, to understand that they don't just do it. You have to call them and ask for it, though. You have to call your past clients and say, hey, you know, if you're happy with the service, can you give me the names of 3 friends like that? That's what I think it was Ed that said in the meeting last week. Give me the names of 3 friends that you think might be interested in buying that I can call. And word of mouth is everything in this business. Aaron's 100% right. You can't buy leads. I've been doing this for 25 years. They're worthless. Believe me, if somebody had hot leads, they'd be closing themselves.
Correct.
I mean, if somebody had real estate leads that were worth what these people try and charge for them, they would close the deals themselves and make tens of millions of dollars instead of trying to make 30 grand on a stack of leads.
That's totally true. So take some time and really determine where you're. So, like for instance, to use Dave as another example, you get a huge amount of business. Maybe your biggest source of business is referrals from past clients, right? Referrals from people in your database. Would it make sense for you to say, I'm going to build a whole marketing plan about doing some big online push to try and advertise to people in the South Bay to use me? Like, why would you spend all that time and money when you know the biggest source of your business is from referrals from past clients? So why not lean into your past clients and just double up or triple up on those referrals, right?
I mean, and like I said, I have a database of 600. I try and touch them all twice a year. Some of them I don't. Obviously, I have them now in KV Core, and I have them kind of prioritized. So there's people that I call 3 times, 4 times a year because they refer me people,
Hmm.
and people that are more social, people that are. This is important if like a financial planners, financial advisors, stockbrokers, people in the finance business. A lot of times, their friends and family count on them to be a referral, for big financial decisions that they make. If you could, I still have 3 or 4 financial advisors that from 20 years ago. I call them weekly, all of them, because these guys, refer me 10, 12 clients a year. So, I mean, in a good year, more than that. So, and on the real estate side, it works the same way.
That's so interesting. So you'll actually call somebody that's a great referral source for you. You'll call them weekly sometimes?
Yes. Yeah.
No kidding. That's
My
crazy.
yeah, my financial advisor, and there's 2 other financial advisors that they years ago when I got into this business, I was asked to teach what they called product class once a month on Mondays to all the first year financial advisors at an Ameriprise office up in West LA. And it was on, the mortgage market, on the home buying process. It was on what drives interest rates. And I did it for about a year. And I had a room full of young, eager kids. And the 3 or 4 that I still, and there's another half dozen that I call, maybe every other month, but the 3 or 4 that have really been the most consistent people, I'll call them pretty much once a week. And sometimes it's, how's the family? Did you see that Packers game? Whatever. But it's just a matter of getting them on the phone and getting the dialogue started and making sure that you're in the front of their mind on the day, because they could get 3 or 4 calls, because I mean, believe me, they're doing the same thing. So, and to kind of further that, if you have people in your life that might be in need of a financial planner, send them the way of the same 1 or 2, so that you can have a back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and anything that you can do to create relationships with people like that is going to grow your business.
That's a great point. And you know what it really illustrates also, Dave, is there are some people in all of our databases where they haven't sent referrals. They're not really looking to, they're just not like connectors in the community. Like some people, you just know them. They're just connectors. They know everybody. You know that if you need to get a referral for something, you call that person, like they just know everybody. And there's some people that are on the other side of the spectrum. They're just like, they're doing their own thing. They say, so are you going to call those non-connectors every month? No. Maybe you touch base with them 3, 4 times a year. But if there's somebody in your database that has consistently been a cheerleader for you, that has consistently been a raving fan of yours, that consistently wants to send you business, that has sent you business, that you really enjoy participating with, and maybe you send business to them also, depending on who they are, what they do? Should you be talking to them more often? Absolutely. I find that as well. I find that there are some people that refer me a lot of business, and I talk to them frequently, and I refer them a lot of business. And there's other people, not so much. So, you know,
And
use your head.
any good CRM can help you prioritize your sphere. Like I started using KV Core because of Michael there in that talked about it about a year ago in Aaron's office, and it took some time to get it set up. But
Yep.
you can basically rate 1 through 5 your entire sphere.
Hmm.
And so like those 3 financial planners, they're 5s. And so they are the first 3 names when I open KV Core, they're the first 3 names that open up. And
Hmm.
then and you, like I said, you just rank them, and I've got, at the bottom I've got 251 stars that, if I get to them once a year, I try twice a year, but you absolutely have to call. If you're not willing to be on the phone a big swath of your day, you're in the wrong business.
Mm. Which leads us actually perfectly to the next point on lead generation. Our business generally comes from kind of three different places. So our business generally comes from either number one, waiting for it, number two, buying it, and number three, going out and finding it. 80% should be from going out and finding it. 80% should be going out and finding it. If your business plan says, I'm just going to wait for business, believe me, you're not going to do a lot of business, right? Sometimes waiting works. People will call you out of the blue, like you weren't expecting a call. Oh my God, like, I'm so glad you called. I wasn't expecting a call. So and so referred you. That's wonderful. It happens, right? Sometimes people buy business. Maybe they'll buy leads, or maybe they'll buy business by reducing their commission or overpricing a listing just to get it. Like that happens, but you can't build a big business on that. You're not going to build a big, robust business by commission cutting all the time, right? Sometimes you make a business decision, fine. But 80% of the time, our business should come from going out and finding it, doing the generation work, spending the time each day, like Dave just said. The guy that's been having success for 25 years because he's willing to get on the phones and talk to people. So, again, our business comes from generally three places: waiting for it, buying it, or going out and finding it. But 80% of our business should be going out and finding it. So make sure you carve out some time each day to do that. Now, next point is real important. So the next point is really about prepping your mind and your the system to prepare for prospecting. And what that is you have to create an efficient pre-prospecting routine each day before you prospect. A pre-prospecting routine, right? Like Mark, you have developed a routine that you follow every day. And you want to be effective at prospecting, have a pre-prospecting routine. A sample, an example of what that could look like, for example, getting up at a specific time each day, right? Let's say 6 o'clock every day, I'm up. Doing some form of exercising or stretching. All right, 6:15, out for my run. Have a healthy breakfast. 7 o'clock, have my breakfast. Number 4, do your affirmations. Number 5, arrive at the office at a very specific time each day. And number 6, clear your desk and get your prospecting numbers prepared, right? Have that done maybe the night before. Maybe number 8, role play with some enthusiasm with some role play partners. And number 9, have some fun. Like that's a routine. That's a 9-step routine that you can follow. And if you did that every single day, prospecting is just step 10 in that process. Every day, just like clockwork. Like it's just what I do. I get up, my alarm goes off. I get up, I do some exercise. I have a healthy breakfast. I do my affirmations. I arrive at the office at a very specific time. I have all my prospecting numbers ready. I role play and I get on the phones. Like it's just bum, 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 A, B, C, D. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel every day, right? We're not trying to start from scratch every single day, but having a strong, effective pre-prospecting routine will help you to be more effective when you actually prospect, when you actually do the lead generation. Routines are everything. Next point, we must understand why prospecting is difficult at times too. And then once we know why it's difficult or what can make it difficult, we can actually take steps to make it easier. So what are some reasons or some explanations on how or why prospecting or doing your lead generation could be difficult? How about I don't know how to prospect? I don't know how to prospect. Yeah, that can make it difficult, right? Dylan is a newer agent. In the beginning, you didn't know how to prospect, right? You're getting better. You're learning how to do it. And you're practicing. What else could make it difficult? I don't know what to say. Mark, we talk about this all the time. Grips, tweaking, refining, making better. But that's something that can make prospecting a little difficult. I don't know what to say. How about I have unproductive work habits? You know, gosh, starting at about 11 o'clock every night, I just binge watch Netflix. And before I know it, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. That is absolutely an unproductive work habit. That can make getting up on time, getting up early, and doing effective work the following day, that can make it difficult.
I've got I've got a good one.
Go ahead.
What can make prospecting difficult is the boredom of it.
Sure.
I think that's why most people don't do it. They can't process the boredom.
It does get monotonous, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's I think anything that's to be done like consistently over time, there's an element of boredom to it. And I think
Yeah.
where most people fail, most of us, if we do fail, is that in being able to just do the boredom.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Ferry calls it mastering repetitious boredom.
Yeah.
Mastering it. But what's kind of fun? Think about, well, what job doesn't get boring? Is there a job that you can think of that doesn't require repetitious boredom?
I, I think the closest to that was being working in restaurants in New York City. There was seldom ever boredom. It was almost always adrenaline. there were, it was just when you clocked in till you clocked out. Yeah.
Right.
I think that might have been the closest I've had. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But still, there was a very similar activity that you had to participate in and day out for years. But yeah, the people made it different. But you think about the most successful people on the planet have learned to master repetitious boredom. What are some of the most successful people? Think about a professional athlete. Oh man, that must be amazing. They're just, you know, following their dream and playing sports. You know how boring it is? You know how much these men and women practice? Hours and hours and hours every single day for years. Football players practice all week for one game a week for a couple hours a week work. They're practicing 40, 50, 60 hours. Repetitious boredom. Okay. Oh, I'd love to. Wouldn't it be nice to be an actor, right? I'll make $20 million a picture for acting. Do you know how boring that is? Have you ever been on a movie set to see what these guys do all day? When they're not just memorizing lines for hours and hours and hours, they're in front of the camera. Take one, do it again, take two, do it again, take three, do it again. The same thing again and again and again. It's not all red carpets and Oscar ceremonies, right?
Yeah,
But the
those 30
people,
seconds that caught on social media for whatever performer or anything.
yeah,
that's the 30 seconds, but that's the tip of the iceberg, what it's taken to practice to get there. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
What's another thing that could be difficult for prospecting at times? How about this? I can't handle rejection. I can't handle the rejection, the embarrassment. When people get upset, that's possible, right? What else could make it difficult? I'm not getting fast enough results. How about that one? That could be challenging, right? My gosh, I prospected 3 hours today, and I couldn't find one person that wanted to list their home with me, right? And then the next day, another 3 hours. Still, nobody wants to list with me. And the following day, another 3 hours. Nope. And then the following day, another 3 hours. 4 days in a row, 12 hours of prospecting. Not one person wants to list their home with me. And then the fifth day, you find someone and you list $1 million home and it's $25,000 check. That made the week worth it. That's just the business we're in, right? But that could be a challenge, right? Not getting fast enough results. What else can make prospecting difficult? It's okay to talk about the difficulties of it because once you face it, you can actually do something about it. I have a basic fear of prospecting. I have a basic fear of talking to people. There's there's ways to resolve all of these things. If you don't know what to say, you practice the scripts. If you have unproductive work habits, you rework your schedule to a workable schedule.
Aaron, I have a question.
Go for it.
So a lot of people that I'm trying to help, their fear seems to be like their bills, like their real life activities that are happening in their life, and they can't commit to something this just loosely. I'm like, go, let's knock on these doors, let's print these flyers, let's do this. But then it's like there's no paycheck on Friday, so their bills are overtaking their lives. And so that's probably just like a mindset issue, I think, for a lot of people, right?
100%. So what if I was to say to them, if I was to write you a check, if I was to put you on salary and pay you $200,000 a year,
Yep.
so roughly $16,000 a month, every single month, right? 4 grand a week. Every Friday, I'm going to write you a check for 4,000, 4,500 bucks. Would you go out and prospect 2 to 3 hours a day? Call it 3 hours a day. Let's ramp it up. If I was going to write you a check every Friday afternoon for 4 or 5,000 bucks, would you that's $1,000 a day, right?
Yeah.
We can kind of reduce this down to like the ridiculous, right? If I was to pay you $1,000 every single day, would you prospect for 3 hours without fail? You can't miss a day. Most people would say, hell yes, I would do that. You're gonna pay me $1,000 a day. I'll make over 200 grand a year. I'll make 250 a year. I'll do that every day. And with some people, it's more. It's some people with their work ethic and their price point, it's $2 or $3 or $4,000 a day. That's the kind of money they make in real estate, or more. It's five or it's $10,000 a day, right? But when you're starting out, $1,000 a day, would you prospect 3 hours every day? And of course, they'd say yes. That's exactly the opportunity that they have right in front of them. The only challenge is it takes a degree of blind faith to actually see that for themselves. So you're right. You have to start with a little bit of blind faith. Just like you did, Amir.
Yeah.
You started in this business. You started somewhere. You saw people around you having success, and you said, I can do that. That person is doing, I know I can do what they're doing, and they're having success. I'm going to just mimic their activities. I'm going to just model their activities. And I'll have a little bit of blind faith. It's not even that blind because I'm seeing somebody have success. I'm going to mimic what they're doing and I'll have that same success. The reality is, though, this is a commission-based business. Nobody's going to write them $1,000 check each day to do their job. So they've got to.
They want me to.
Yeah. But guess what? You know what the funny thing is? If you actually wrote them each a check for $1,000 a day, that would create a level of um, complacency.
Yeah.
You're getting a
Yeah.
thousand bucks a day. I don't feel like I don't need to work now. I got $1,000 a day. It's like I'll just take the day off.
Right.
This business is not for the faint of heart, right? There's a reason,
Not at all.
Amir, why you succeed in this business and others don't. How many people, you've been doing this for like a lot of years. What has it been? Like a dozen years? How more? I mean, how long have
Four,
you been in this
four,
business?
I think we're on 14 at the last Superstar retreat. Yeah.
So 14 years you've been doing this. How many people have you seen come and go? Come and go. Hundreds,
Yeah.
hundreds.
98, 98%.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you got to just play these mental games for yourself, such as, listen, if somebody wrote me a check, at the end of the year, $500,000, would I prospect every day if I knew that was coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. That's exactly what's coming if you prospect. I mean, this is the reality of what this business is.
Yeah.
It
Aaron,
truly is.
I want to just put it in terms. You say $500,000. That's if you look at it in realtor terms, that's $20 million in production.
Yep.
So that's, I mean, it's a lot for sure, but that's 10 $2 million homes in a year. If you could sell 10 $2 million homes in a year, you make $500,000.
Our
You know,
two $1 million homes a month
right, right.
in LA. Yeah.
So
By
I
the way,
mean,
$1 million home is a dime a dozen around here, right? I
that's
mean, you go,
that's the median right now.
Yeah.
Period. So I mean, the money and what is there 14 million housing units in California, and you're only
Yeah.
looking for 2 a month out of 14 million.
and
I
if you
mean,
fail miserably, and if you
yeah,
fail miserably and you only get one a month,
right. You're
still
still
at a
gonna
quarter
make
million bucks.
right. Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the craziness of what this industry offers. It really is. We happen to be extremely fortunate. You might
Yeah.
listen, it's all mindset. You could say we're in one of the toughest real estate markets in the country. Everybody in LA wants to sell real estate. There's more agents per capita than anywhere. Hey, guess what? Let's flip that. We are so fortunate to be in the market we're in, to be able to sell $1 million home that's in a working class community. That's like an average home, right? $1 million.
Right. You think you're scuffling? Think about the guy or gal in Austin, Texas, that's trying to make the same money on a bunch of $230,000 deals, and no
Hmm.
one's selling there either
Yeah. They're working 4 times as hard for sure.
for 4 times as hard for half the money. I mean, and that's pretty much where we're all in that same boat right now. But when things come back online and rates come down, and they always have, they always will. The more contacts you're making now, the more is going to come in the door when things are good.
Yeah.
And then don't spend it all when you make it. That was last week's talk.
That's right. That's funny. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stuff. All right, well let's kind of wrap it here. The it's such a valuable conversation, and I don't want anyone to think that you have to become the world's greatest lead generator overnight. You start small. Hang up the phone right now when we get off and call one or two people that are past clients or people in your center of influence and touch base with them.
Hmm.
Talk to them. How have you been? What's going on? I guarantee they're going to ask you about real estate. How have you been? How's business with you? It's good. It can always be better though. Who do you know that might need some help with real estate? Is there anyone you can think of at work or in your neighborhood? Or maybe a family member that might need my assistance? I'd be honored to help. So start
Yeah.
today. One or two calls. If you're not a prospector, if it's not something you do, start small and then build and build and build. But you will be pleasantly surprised when people really respond favorably to your outreach. Because most people don't do it. Most people don't lead gen. They don't prospect. You think they do, but they don't. You go out there in the community, provide value to people, value to your friends, value to your past clients. They'll respond accordingly. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here, for your participation. Have an awesome week, and we'll talk next week. Take good care. Be well, everyone.
All right.